All right, it is Wednesday. It's 4:30 p.m. It means it's office hours here on the ViaMonstra Academy. Welcome everyone. We are heading into holidays time here in our little world, and just a few more weeks of 2022. Exciting times. But this is where you can get updates on our cloud ecosystem, Intune, ConfigMgr, bit of Azure, PowerShell, MDT, and also where you can ask questions on those platforms. So that being said, let's get the show on the road. Hello, good sir.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. It's Wednesday.
Yeah.
How can it be bad?
Exactly. We're more than halfway to the weekend. As you said, the holidays are coming up, so I'm looking forward to that. It's all good stuff.
Yeah, a lot of time to do research and blogging and videos. And
That's
eat
why
lots
it's
of
one of
food.
exactly. And I mean, as far as the technologies and everything that we work with, or just when working in IT in general, that's why this is one of my favorite times of the year. We get to stop putting out fires quite as much and start researching and doing more of the fun, interesting things, right?
That's cool. I like that. So, what's going on in since last Wednesday? Or what?
There
Not
have
much?
been not too much. I've got a few things that I'd be happy to share today if you want to share my screen.
Yes, sir. Here we go.
All right. So the first one I came across, hopefully this is just a step in the right direction for more customization, because I know that people have wanted this for a long time, but Microsoft announced enhanced company branding for the Azure AD sign-in experiences. So we will actually be able to customize the look and feel of our sign-in pages by being able to use some built-in headers and footers that are now available, as well as custom style sheets. We'll be able to customize the browser icon and the self-service password reset tool link as well. So there's some cool stuff here. I know that this is something that a lot of us, if you're using Autopilot, for example, you have to customize your company branding. So this is something that a lot of us have run into. So I would definitely recommend popping in and checking this out. As I said, I've had many, many, many requests over the years within some of the organizations I've worked with on customizing the look and feel of those pages. So I'm very happy to see this announcement, which is why I started off with it today. Also had a blog post that I came across from Andrew Taylor. And he wrote a couple of PowerShell functions here in order to more easily automate and add applications using the new Microsoft Store Intune integration. Thought this was pretty useful. So a couple of functions here, both to add a new application as well as assign the application to your Azure AD groups, and display all the store apps that are available to you as well. So I wanted to share that. Also on the Intune side of things, saw a post from Sander Rozemuller, had sort of a deep dive into the automation of Win32 apps and actually uploading an Intune Win file with Graph. So quite a nice deep dive, a lengthy blog post here, which I appreciated. A lot of information. Looks like a lot of research went into this blog post, so thought this was worth the share as well. What else do we have? Last week we talked a little bit about Windows Update for Business, and when you're in a co-management scenario, moving that workload over to Intune, the Windows Update workload. So this got a little bit of traction on Twitter last week, and Manuel Nieto posted a proactive remediation script on GitHub that I wanted to sort of showcase here. This was based on a blog post that I wrote, that another one that Ben Whitemore wrote, and several other folks in the community have posted about this topic. It's been a hot topic this year, I'd say. So he posted a nice proactive remediation here, and one of his follow-up tweets, he's now also using this as part of his Defender for Endpoint library to do some live response on some of his endpoints. I thought that was a pretty cool way of dealing with this. My initial post was pretty basic, so I'm glad to see these things get extended out there. And then a couple more things. I saw an event that's coming up tomorrow, and I lost the link for it, so let me grab that real quick. The Charlotte Systems Management User Group is having a couple of folks, Arnab, Mitra, and Michael Hildebrand, hosting a session called AAD Join Mythbusters. And they're going to be talking about how you might be able to remove some of the blockers for moving to strictly Azure AD Join in your organization. So this is going on 6 to 8 p.m. Central tomorrow. Looks like it was going to be hosted online. So this is, again, another important topic, and we see this come up from time to time. So I'm going to try to attend this tomorrow. Sounded pretty interesting to me.
All right.
Last but not least, I had just sort of a fun share. I'm not going to read through the whole thing, but I saw on Twitter yesterday, Stefan here. I'm sure, Johan, you've seen a couple of tweets about ChatGPT over the last week and a half.
Just a few. I might be guilty of a few, but two as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Been following along with some of the cool stuff that it's doing there, and Stefan here asked it to write a horror story about configuration manager, a failed software update deployment, and a system administrator with a hangover from the Christmas party. So just a little fun story that I saw here. I wanted to drop this link into our posted links for today.
That is so awesome. It's just amazing how good that AI really is, and it's just like barely beginning. A lot of this data is like 2 years old. I read, and imagine this in 10 years' time.
It's incredible, truly.
We have to step up our game here on scripting. We'd be out of a job.
Yeah, I'll say so. Fortunately, it looks like at least at the moment it does a pretty good job of giving you a basic script, but at least we're still needed to go in there and double check a few things.
Yep, that's good. Job security, I like it.
Exactly.
All right. Let me. Can I steal the screen?
Oh, please.
Let's see here. Boom, boom. Let's do this. Well, first of all, for those of you that didn't have a chance to join us last week, we definitely had Maurice Daly and Mike Terrell joining us for our modern driver management masterclass that I put the link to somewhere here. So I'll share this link with you. It's an hour and a half discussion, demos, lectures around this topic. That was fun. We had the acquisition of the year, I think, at least in our little industry.
Yeah, I would say so.
Patch My PC acquired Scappman, two great companies now. One, and I expect to see some goodness coming out of this for sure. Congratulations to everyone involved in that deal. Then we have our friends over at the cloud management community. They are hosting a Windows Autopilot AMA, Ask Me Anything, on December 20, hosted by Rudy Ohms, but also Michael Niehaus. So probably the two most knowledgeable people on the planet on Windows Autopilot. So that should be a good show. I stumbled across a dang good video from IS and a few others on using custom inventory, in this case without the use of log analytics. So that was a good view, good talk, good discussions. Let's see what else. Martin Bengtsson, he wrote a post around some BitLocker features he discovered recently, especially on Windows 11 devices. So highly recommend to review this one. Then we had our friends over at MMS starting to announce speakers for the conference that begins late April and ends early May next year. So first out was obviously they announced Morris Daly will be a speaker, and then the man, the myth, the legend, also David James will be joining the conference. We are going. We don't know if we have any sessions yet, but we will be there no matter what. So looking forward to that. And finally, and I didn't tell you about this, Andrew, but I found a, if you're looking for Christmas ideas, I might have just the thing. Stumbled across a video just last night from Linus Tech Tips. I like that channel. And I'm not going to play the video, but it's a new CPU from AMD, or fairly new. 96 cores, quite many lanes, 12 PCI Express lanes, 6 terabytes of memory. I'll text you the address later so you can.
Please do.
They come in pairs, right? You have to buy 2.
Exactly. Or even if we only get one, at least if you wouldn't mind, let me run 1 or 2 VMs on it, please.
Deal, sir. We have deal.
Thank you.
So anyhow, I thought that was pretty cool. Some interesting hardware there for sure.
That's awesome.
All right. Do we have any questions coming in?
We do. We've got a question from Imran coming in from YouTube. In a test lab implemented hybrid cloud Kerberos trust, was able to access on-prem file sharing, not tested to map on-prem printer on an Azure AD PC. Can you do this without using universal printing? For my part, I have not tested Cloud Trust actually with printing. I don't know if you have come across that, Johan.
I have not. Shortened answer to that one, we simply don't know. If anyone happened to listen or have tried it, by all means, put a comment in. I'll be happy to share it. But it's nothing I've seen either in the online or in the community. So maybe not.
Yeah, primarily the scenarios that I've dealt with Cloud Trust is surrounding on-prem file shares for sure. All right, we've got another question coming in from Matt. And first of all, he said hello to Johan and Andrew. So hello, Matt. Thanks for joining us.
Hi there. Yep.
Thanks for answering my question about dev subscription. I have a question. This did not give me Windows or Azure licenses. So how can I fix that?
Well, if you need trial versions of Windows, you can use. I can bring it up here. the regular evaluation center. Microsoft do offer Windows 10 and Windows 11 media here. You can even download ConfigMgr if you want to do that kind of integration or testing in your dev tenant. But otherwise, Windows 10 and Windows 11 Enterprise is available. I believe it's either 60 or 90 days. I forgot which that you get. Should be listed here somewhere. $90 here. Just passed by it. So that should get you through to do some testing. Otherwise, you will have to basically buy a few licenses or buy a small subscription that has a few licenses. But if you just want to play around and test a few things, these licenses will work just fine. All right. Any other questions?
That is all I'm seeing for the moment.
All right. If you have any questions out there, don't hesitate. We can type them in on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, not Twitter, but and pretty much in the other platforms. I think it was a follow-up comment from Matt there regarding Autopilot or Autopatch. So Autopilot will work because you do get the Azure AD Premium 1 license together with the dev program, but you do not get the Autopatch license. I remember when you tried that one out, Andrew, and that you that one we can actually share because when was that? Was it Friday? No. Yeah, Friday, right?
Autopilot, yep, the ConfigMgr.
Yes. Let's see here. That's you. So this one here, Andrew did a demo on Autopatch. So I'll put that link in the chat as well while I'll add it.
Yeah, and when I first started doing this demo and first set up Autopatch about a month ago, I was also using, it sounds like Matt may be in a similar scenario. I was using the M365 developer subscription and had to actually purchase a couple of the Windows E3 or E5 licenses.
Yeah, so that's if you want to test that particular feature, you would actually have to buy those. They were not terribly expensive, if I remember correctly, but it's still, it's still dollars, right?
Exactly.
There was a question about sharing the links we are showing. We share these links always. So typically on the YouTube channel, under each and every like office hour session, you will find the links from it. We usually post them either the same day or the following day. We also have all links available from all sessions here on the Academy. If you go to the office hours and log in here with your account, then you also have all access to all the recordings there and also all the links. These usually go up a little bit quicker because it's easier for us, but yeah, we have them in both places.
I could say too, I just went and double checked the pricing on Windows 10 E3. Of course, this could vary between tenants and countries and things like that, but it was $84 per user per year for one Windows 10 or 11 Enterprise E3 license.
You said 84?
Yes.
Did you have to sign up, or was that just a cumulative monthly? Was that yearly billing or monthly billing?
I did the yearly. I'm not sure if there's a monthly, but if there is, I presume it's a little bit more expensive than that if you're going to go for the full year. Otherwise, if you just need to try it out for a month or so, that might be a better option.
I mean, I just did the math real quick there. So it's $7 per month, assuming it stays there. So it's not the end of the world. It's like 2 coffees at Starbucks or 1 coffee if you get a fancy one.
Exactly. And yes, Matt had a follow-up. Can I buy them and add them to M365 Dev? Yes, if you just go into the admin center and go to billing and purchase services, you should be able to find them in there. That's how I did it, and it's in the exact same type of tenant. It's a good question because as we've discussed before, Johan, there are a few licenses that I simply don't have access to, presumably because it's a dev tenant. But fortunately, Windows is one of the ones that is available.
All right.
Cool.
Any other questions out there?
We
Great
do.
questions.
Yeah, definitely. Looks like we have an MDT question coming in. After an MDT deployment, Intel sensor is not installed in Device Manager. ZTIDriver log shows it copied one of 3 folders from out of box. Using total control, should all folders copy to the D:/drivers directory?
Well, the short answer, yes. But that particular drive letter is going to be temporary in WinP because it's in WinP that copying happens. So it might very well be something else as well. It can be C drive, D drive, E drive, F drive, S drive, T drive, U drive, V drive. A lot of different drive letters that can be assigned. The weird thing with that structure, if you compare MDT to ConfigMgr, is that what you see here in the, well, not in that one, but in this one, am I still sharing? Yeah, I'm still sharing. What you see in the folder structure here obviously doesn't match at all what's in the actual file system behind the scenes, because in MDT, what they did in the out-of-box drivers is they are sorting per class of the device. So in the out-of-box drivers, this is where you see the different classes of devices. So, but you will see those equivalent coming down to the client during imaging. If a driver is missing after it coming up to Windows, it's usually that's either an incorrect driver, or there are 2 matching drivers and it picks the wrong one, or that driver needs something else. It could be an application that needs to be installed with it. It could be a universal application that needs to be installed with it, meaning pairing the application and the driver. So I don't recognize that particular issue, but that's usually what happens in the case of not working. What you can do, obviously, if you have a system where it does work, and you see that driver is being available, you can always do something like this, where you just going to delete that. You can delete the content of that folder, where you try to export those drivers with a bit of PowerShell. So you use export Windows driver on the functional system, and you say that it's online and it's going to be a destination, and you point it to the SQL on drivers folders in this case, and then you see if you get the driver there. You can try to add that one into your package or into your folder and see if that works. So obviously, if you cannot install the driver manually, it won't work being injected either. But yeah, I will start there. All right. What else?
Let's see. We've got a comment that not sure if it's referencing something. Referencing something we mentioned already, or missing a first part of the message. But it said we had to set that to 1 for Windows 11 21H2. Now having to delete it for Windows 11 22H2 in order for Windows updates and store updates to behave correctly.
Could that possibly be the register keys that you refer to for the remediation post?
Could be one of those, yep.
Because I did see some tweets about issues with the 22H2 key.
Okay.
forgot who posted it, but it was flowing in the Twitter sphere earlier this week.
See if I can find anything about that. Yeah, that would make sense. Interesting. All right, I'll see if I can dig up one of those tweets that you were talking about, Johan.
All right, sounds good. There was another question coming in regarding phase deployments, and that is a feature that was added in ConfigMgr a while back. It was primarily driven from task sequences and has since expanded into other areas. We also have the orchestration feature in ConfigMgr, but basically, I think I have it in this one. If I have a sequence, whatever that sequence is, this is an upgrade sequence, I can create a phase deployment with it to a collection. So demo is a good name as any. And I basically, either you can have your own, you can do very customized phases, or you just have a two-phase deployment where you pick the first collection, and let's say for the argument, it's going to be to these guys, and then the second collection is going to be to these guys, and then you can configure a percentage on how many that have to succeed in the first phase for it to continue into the second phase. This is to basically just provide some automation around when deployments are happening. I don't use this feature at all. I do deployment rings differently, typically quite different procedure where we have a lot of collections often divided into either quarters or monthly. When we do a large scale deployments, we have multiple rings, but we control them manually. We don't let the system do them automatically. So that's the difference, really. So I hope that answered that question. All right, anything else?
Not seeing anything else at the moment. I did come across. What's that?
Did you find something there?
Not anything related to 22H2 specifically, but I did come across a tweet that I saw, I guess it would have been yesterday, where Aria mentioned the dual scan registry key is now deprecated. Dual scans not supported in Windows 11, and you only want to use the scan source registry key. So not directly related, I don't think, but still important. That came across in a thread that was I'll pop that tweet into links as well.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. Any other questions? We'll have to go back and talk how many CPUs I will get for Christmas. You want to share that link?
I'm back.
I lost your screen. What happened?
I don't know. All of a sudden, everything got quiet, and I looked over, and it said there was a connection issue. First time I've had a connection issue on here.
Yeah, we've been running this for a year now, so.
Yes. So I think right about the time that I dropped off, I was just grabbing the link to that tweet to drop into our links. But it sounded like you were maybe asking me something as I popped back in.
Yeah, we can talk about how many CPUs I need. And then conveniently the disconnection drop, the connection dropped.
Yeah, it's really strange. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, that's the automation, the OpenAI thing.
Wow, Johan's asking for 192 cores in his new server.
Yep.
Disconnect.
Yeah, I would like one of those. It would be nice.
Yeah.
See if I can convince upper management. All right, Troy, you had a question on LinkedIn here. Let's see. Companies are happily dropping third-party products. Are we seeing the same thing for antivirus and firewalls? Yes, I'll say across the board. And this has been going on for a while, but especially since Windows 10 came to be, we saw more and more organizations removing their third-party antivirus, third-party disk encryption to go for native BitLocker, native Windows Defender, and stuff like that. So I remember back in when Brad Anderson was still with Microsoft, he had that end zone show, whatever they call it, that they run every now and then. And I remember he presenting numbers that basically before Windows 10, there were some 70% of organizations that were using third party. And already in the beginning of Windows 10 area, that number was down to 50. And I can confirm that with our customers that we work with, there is indeed a trend to go native, because it usually simplifies testing, administration, and troubleshooting quite a bit. It's I've lost months of my life to third-party disk encryption that I will never get back, and it's just interesting to work with. So definitely a trend out there, but I mean they still exist, still causing us pain, and yeah.
I agree. Couldn't have said it better. I've seen the same thing. I mean, products like Defender have improved so much over the last 6-7 years, maybe sometime around that time frame, and I've started to see the same thing. So,
all right. Let's see. Was it? Whoop! Good Lord!
A little visitor.
Yes, sir. That is our biggest cat. He's like Garfield. He's a healthy cat.
I was going to say, I said little visitor. Maybe I should have said a larger visitor.
Yep. Apparently his food bowl is empty or something. I need to address that later. There was a question on MBAM before Garfield jumped in my lap. It's regarding end of life. They did extend it to 2026. It was supposed to be 2024 before. But on the other hand, MBAM is not being developed at all, the standalone solution. It's just barely maintained. So they still test it, but there are no new features coming or anything like that. If you want to go BitLocker management on premises, I highly recommend to go and do that through ConfigMgr, because that team took over the entire BitLocker management process and integrated it nicely with the platform. If you don't want to do it with ConfigMgr, then you can do it through Intune. So pick your platform that you want to work with. I wouldn't recommend anyone to set up like no MBAM installations now. I would rather recommend to do this. And if you are on MBAM, I would recommend moving away from it, because in a few years it will be deprecated anyway. So, and the migration is fairly easy. I did it for a customer last year. It took me a few hours to get it through it, and then yeah, it was easy.
Deal. Sounds like you may also have another visitor at your feet that was bored by the BitLocker conversation.
What?
I heard somebody groaning back there.
That would be Kylo. He's in the corner.
Okay. He's,
That's
he's tired
also
of BitLocker.
yeah. No, I mean, can take the best out of anyone, but he's also
Definitely.
healthy, the gentleman.
Oh, yes. Troy had a follow-up question about the third-party AV. Is it the sysadmins making this decision or being led by security departments?
I'll often those decisions come higher up,
Yeah.
depending on organization, but
Well,
it's
if you've
often
got
on technical issues, license costs and whatnot.
exactly. Hopefully, if you've got a healthy relationship within the organization, that's a conversation that's happening between the two departments, even if it is at a higher level. I would say that's definitely one of those, in my experience, balanced discussions that you have to have with the security team. But
Yeah, totally agree.
agreed. A lot of it comes down to cost and everything.
Yeah, good questions. Like the discussion.
Definitely.
Let's
Another
see.
question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, another question coming in from LinkedIn. What do you guys think if let's see, if winget is delegated for some application installation and automatic remediation, like proactive remediation. Oh, automatic upgrade. So what do you think if winget is delegated for some application installation and automatic upgrade?
Not that I know of. I read something about the regular automatic update that you used to from the store will kick in also for applications that are deployed from the new store. We showcased that in one of our other sessions, but basically when you if you go here in Intune and go to your apps, Windows, and add an application, and this is where we have these new store app types that is using the Winget package manager in the back end here. As far as I've heard, the updates will be enabled by default for those applications, at least the one that you install as UVP applications. Because when you search for applications in the store, it will give you different options. So if you search for VSC here, I think that's what we used in the demo. There will be one Win32 app and one UVP app. I haven't had a chance to play around with this as much as I want. I know you shared a resource there, Andrew, on some of the store app, those store changes, but that's I guess that's what I'll be doing in during the holidays then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I've played around with creating applications and things like that, and I believe I've read the same things that you have, Johan, that those updates do happen automatically. I just haven't had the opportunity to actually see those updates come through on any of my devices or anything yet at this point.
All right, excellent. Any other questions?
I would recommend too, and those resources that I shared that you mentioned, those should be in our recording from last week, I believe. So should anybody want to take a look at those, those links should be posted there.
We can take a quick look and see. Obviously not here, but if I go down here, apparently a live stream going on. That's so weird. Let's see. Might have been one of the earlier live ones. So this one here should have, yeah, it has all the links that we shared last time. So
There we go.
this is how it usually looks, by the way. You just share them underneath the video. All right, what else?
Imran asked, with the new Microsoft Store app, do we need to link Intune with Microsoft Store for Business?
Now this one here just showed up for me. I didn't have to do any additional. I mean, I obviously had the connection earlier to the old business store. Somewhere.
Yeah, that's right there, right in that's the first one that opens up.
The front of my eyes. Wednesday, is it? Only 2 more days. Yeah, but I didn't do anything new for the new store. It just showed up. It just lighted in the tenant. They came up. I haven't tried in a tenant that is not connected to Store for Business previously.
I happen to have the Intune portal up for our Intune class that we just finished up on Monday. So,
okay, I'm sharing it now.
All right. I know we didn't set up the integration in that tenant.
So this one does not have the connector for the business store.
Correct. Well, we'll just double check, but I'm pretty confident it does not. So here, connectors, not set up.
Yeah.
So if we go to our apps, go ahead and add an app. That looks
like the old one, right?
Let's see.
What version of the tenant are you on there?
Great question. 2210.
Yeah, I'm on 2211. So
reload that real quick. There we go. Nothing a Control F5 won't fix. Just upgrade your tenant real quick.
Cached content.
Yeah. Take another look here. There we go. That looks.
That was the weirdest. I have never seen that. That the app type won't show up until you refresh the cache. Apparently, you had since you knew about it.
That happened in my dev tenant, actually. So yeah, it looks like we can just go ahead and add right from here.
Yeah, found it. All right. No, you do not need to set up the business integration or store for business integration. And apparently you may have to press Control F5 to upgrade your Intune tenant. That was the first.
It's that easy.
I wish it would be that easy. Every month you have to hit the Control F5 and be done with it.
All right. Yeah, exactly.
New stuff available.
Nothing like a good live demo, right?
True that. All right, we have 15 open minutes available. If you guys have any questions, by all means, let us know. I'll be happy to answer them.
Well, I know after that I have to make some notes for our next course.
Press Control F5.
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. Anything else? We're happy to dive in and take a stab at the answer. But I do not see any more questions coming in at the moment. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so if someone is still typing.
Maybe the next time we have a question we can't answer, we can live ask ChatGPT to see if it'll give us the answer.
That would be an interesting touch to it. All right, there is actually a question on LinkedIn. It's Troy again asking, for customers using proactive remediations in Intune, what are some of the popular scenarios? And for a start, custom inventory is a big one. The equivalent of baselines in ConfigMgr. So basically what you would do in the ConfigMgr baseline is what people are also adding into Intune for the same purpose, for the same reason. I lately see the hardware configurations coming in as proactive remediation script. Anything you'd like to add there, Andrew?
No, custom inventory was the one I was going to mention. The one that I mentioned earlier is really just checking registry keys and fixing them as necessary, like you said, configuration baselines. So those are kind of the things that I've been seeing. As far as configuring hardware, you were doing a demo on HP driver updates and things like that, and that uses proactive remediations, right?
Oh yeah. If I go over here, this is where I have some of those. Let me share the screen again. So I have one for HP that deploys a BIOS configuration, but they went in and provided that remediation script through their integration with Intune. So I didn't have to write that script. They wrote it for me depending on what I selected in their portal. But I mean, go to any config manager environment these days and head over to assets and compliance and then see what's in the different baselines that are being used. You can bet you will find similar things for in Intune platforms, especially application configurations and things like that. May have a few other examples up here. Usually keep a few around for demos and whatnot. Yeah, this one we deploy the branch cache. We do that through Intune also, because it works also for non-config managed environments. Obviously, this one is not so useful because you can't manage servers through Intune, but otherwise that would be common. I can imagine you want to do traditional wake on land configuration. In this case, we bumped up the event log for some troubleshooting we were doing, and this is our agent that we can configure with or make sure has different values configured, and that doesn't change. It's the same if you manage through config manager or if you're managing through Intune. So basically what the popular baselines are out there for config manager, I bet we will see a lot of them as proactive remediation scripts in Intune. Yeah. And Imran, Merry Christmas back. Thank you for that. I saw the comment now.
Yeah, thank you. Same.
Any other questions?
Looks like we just had one come in from YouTube. In MDT, should the file PnpEnum.xml exit in the log exists in the logs folder?
The PnP enumeration should exist. Let me take a look in one of my log files or log folders. This was a Dell machine I deployed at some point here. No, that one did not have it. Might not be included in the server-side script logic. It will be available on the client though, because the ZTIDriver script runs that one. There is even a little utility included that runs it. You can run that utility separately. believe that's in the tools folder. Let's see. Yeah, this one. You can run that standalone on the client. It'll regenerate that XML file, that list of hardware devices it finds. What this utility has a hard time doing is detect those weird drivers, device drivers, that needs like a one driver to load until you see the rest of the device. So like a two-tier type driver. I've seen that back in the days with mobile cards or SIM cards in computers, laptops. So yeah. So you can run that manually and see what it spits out.
Cool.
I have no idea what happens if you run it in full Windows. It's intended to be for WinPE. Shall we try it?
I think so.
I worked.
All right.
I hope you noticed that I decided to run it inside the VM instead of my host in case it would.
Yep. That's
yeah,
smart.
Yeah. But yeah, it worked. Yes, nicely.
Cool.
I have no idea where it spit out any log files, but if any, don't see anything in this folder at least. Forgot what syntax they're using when they're running it, but it must be something. Yeah, it is called by the script here, and only that script it looks like. So, good old find command goes a long way. Yeah, they specify the XML file on the command line to that one. So they find that file and then run it, specifying the XML file. And then they load that into the log engine later. All right, cool.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Like to see your detective work in action.
I'm getting old. I don't remember everything. Have to look it up.
Could have fooled me. All right. We had another question coming in on LinkedIn, actually.
Yeah.
Did you face the automatic 10-minute reboot notification when enabling Credential Guard via CSP? If yes, is there a way to avoid that?
Pooh. I do not know. I have not tried.
Same. If I would have received that notification, it would have been probably during some more broad testing, and I would have just been like, yeah, fine, reboot.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, I'm afraid.
Same. Sorry to say.
And the other question, we still have 4 minutes to go here. All right. With no more questions coming in, thank you everyone that joined us today, and we hope to see you again next week. Have a great rest of your week. Thank you for now.
Thanks, everybody.